Dreyer, the founder of Batch Cooking Club, a weekly meal prep membership to make mealtime easier. And I'm so excited. I am in the kitchen today making homemade-ish spring lentil wraps with homemade-ish olive hummus. And you might be wondering what homemade-ish is. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite topics. Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to any of our members who are watching. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us live or watching later. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and are so excited to have all of you here. We are, our meal prep membership includes this recipe this week. We always give you 4 recipes, and it includes a batch of spring lentils, which are going into these wraps, and a batch of olive hummus. So I'm going to actually show you a homemade-ish way to make both of those things. In our plan this week, we have a homemade recipe for the lentils that is delish, and you batch that on the weekend along with some of our other recipes that are in this week's plan. I'm going to tell you all about those in just a few minutes. And what we normally do is we double batch something in our plans and use it in 2 ways. So these spring lentils that I'm going to show you today, we're using them in a quiche and also in these lentil wraps in our menu for the fall for next week. We always give you the plan on Wednesday, so it just came out yesterday. And then you batch cook on the weekend, and then you have food and your menu ready for next week. So, although our plan includes a homemade recipe for the lentils, we're going to show you today a homemade-ish recipe because that's what I want to talk to you guys about. We have homemade-ish hummus in this week's plan, and it just inspired me to talk about homemade-ish because you don't have to make everything from scratch for it to be homemade, and you don't have to make everything from scratch to make yourself feel like you slaved over a hot stove to give your family a delicious homemade meal. So I wanted to highlight that, and we always try to include a note in each of our recipes where there's an opportunity to speed things up and use a store-bought ingredient to make it homemade-ish. And that's really all that homemade-ish means. It means taking a store-bought ingredient. It could be a dip, a dressing, a marinade, a pre-cooked rice, a pre-bagged salad, and revamping it, reincorporating it into a recipe in some way to make it your own and to still make it homemade and fresh. That's all homemade-ish is. That's one of my favorite things. So I'm going to jump into it. Like I said, these lentils, we're going to start with the lentils. The lentils are homemade in this week's plan, but I am showing you a homemade-ish way to make it. And I have got these steamed lentils that I purchased from Trader Joe's. You can also buy canned lentils. And I'm just gonna add fresh herbs, some garlic, some lemon zest and lemon juice, and some salt. And did I say garlic? Yeah, garlic and fresh herbs. And then we're gonna put that together, and you'll see these homemade-ish lentils come together in 5 minutes, whereas our homemade recipe takes about 30 to 40 minutes. And it's not a big deal to make them homemade on the weekend when you're batch cooking the rest of your recipes for the week. And that's how we suggest you do it. All of our batch cooking plans, I'm gonna just chop in here and get these, here's our garlic. I'm gonna, while I show you all get the herbs in here, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about kind of my philosophy behind batch cooking and what we put in every week's plan so that you don't have to do a lot of work. My philosophy is don't spend hours in the kitchen. Get in and get out on a Saturday or Sunday, prep for 1.5 to 2 hours, and have 4 meals at least planned for the week. Because we normally give you a dressing, a sauce, some kind of protein, etc., that are then components in the 4 meals that you're gonna throw together later in the week. So these lentils are, like I said, the homemade lentils are one of them. And when you're cooking them, we tell you the order to do it, so you're always doing something, or something's baking or roasting, we've got something cooking on the stove, well that's cooking on the stove, we've got you blending or whisking something together. So that hour and a half that you're in the kitchen, you're always doing something, so you end up with a lot of food prepped for the week so that when you go to make dinner later, it only takes you anywhere from 10 minutes to half an hour. And that's the way I like to do it as a busy mom with 3 kids. I don't want to spend more than 30 to 45 minutes on my meals. So I don't know about you. Do we have anybody checking in that with the questions? If you have questions, I've got Roberto on the camera here, and he can let me know if you guys have any questions.
Well, Stephanie, we have 3 members. The only one I can get up right now is that lady from Redondo Beach, Gail.
Hi, Gail. Thanks for tuning in. I've got chives that I'm chopping up, by the way. I've got fresh dill. I've got some thyme, and then I put some garlic in there. So you could put any assortment of herbs that you like. You could do parsley. You could do, I like all the green stuff. So you could do rosemary. You could do anything that is like your personal blend to customize it. And then that's the other thing. All of our recipes are made to be customizable. Like I said, I'm a busy mom. I get picky eaters. I get kid eaters who like this or don't like that or don't want this to touch that. So every recipe, all of our recipes are plant-based, so they're always allergen friendly, but also if you have nut allergies or gluten allergies or soy allergies, we've got you covered there. We always give you options for how to turn the recipe, modify the recipe if it has an ingredient that needs to be, is an allergen. And then we also have an option if you're going oil-free. A lot of people are now subscribing to those diets to watch calories, so we have an oil-free alternative as well. But then we also have a ingredient substitution guide. So for every recipe, and I'm just peeling off my my thyme right here. Oh, it smells so good in here, you guys. I just with the herbs out, before I chopped everything, it smelled really good. With the ingredient substitution guide, every ingredient, every recipe is listed in this guide. So it's updated weekly, so that if there's an ingredient in there that you don't like, you have an alternative to sub. So, for broccoli, for example, you don't like broccoli, maybe you do cauliflower, etc., etc. You don't like lentils, maybe you want to do black beans or white beans or some other kind of bean that you love. So there's options for you. Chickpeas would be delicious with this recipe too. So I get very impatient with my time because when it doesn't come off easily, I'm like, come on, I want to get you all chopped up. So I'm being a little messy here, sorry. I should have deveined this before we started. So let me tell you, while I'm doing this, the other recipes in this week's plan. If you're interested, you can always go to batchcookingclub.com/this-week, and you can always see what we're serving. Every Wednesday, we update that with the new plan. So this week, like I said, we have these spring lentil wraps with olive hummus. We also have a delicious lentil quiche that is so good. You batch cook the lentils, of course, but you also batch cook some lemon mustard, potatoes, and asparagus, you guys. It is so good. And then it just comes together really quick during the week. You just fold all that in. It's eggless. It's made with tofu. So good. Serve that with a green salad, and dinner is served so easy, so delicious. And we also have enchilada penne. So, okay, this might be my new favorite way to eat pasta. So I'm Italian and Hispanic, and I love all of those cuisines. So I found a way to meld them together in my enchilada penne. So you roast some fajita vegetables, 1 sheet pan. You do this on the weekend too, super easy. And then the sauce is like a combination of marinara and enchilada sauce, obviously, and some other things, and it all gets folded together, and I swear it tastes like enchiladas and pasta. It sounds like my kids were like, Mom, we weren't sure when you told us you were putting enchilada sauce in the pasta, but you know what? It's really good. So it's really fun. You can kind of customize it depending what you like in your enchiladas. We have some olives in there as well. I love olives. Okay, I think this is enough of the time. And I'm getting a little impatient, so we're going to just do this. Okay, so then we have the enchilada penne. Oh, wait, I think that is a bud. Yes, it is a bud. Okay, the enchilada penne. Oh, and then last but not least, I've been getting so many. I posted this recipe yesterday in my stories, and I've been getting so much. People have been asking me all for this recipe. It's the barbecue chickpea sweet potato burgers with tangy slaw. Oh my goodness. So if you're not burgered out, which apparently based on the feedback I got yesterday, people are still raring to go for burgers this summer. This is a delicious recipe. the burgers you make on the patties are really easy. You make them on the weekend. They're super easy. They come together quickly once you roast those potatoes. Okay, those are all my herbs. I'm gonna just slide this over, and we're gonna do the zest of 1 lemon in here. That just gives it a little tangy brightness. So we're just gonna zest that in there. So those are your 4 recipes for the week in this week's plan. And like I said, we batch cook about 5 to 6 ingredients during the weekend to make those 4 recipes come together really easily. So for example, for that plan, that menu I just told you, we're doing the lentils on the weekend, we're roasting the vegetables for the quiche, we're also roasting the vegetables for the penne, and we're making the olive hummus. What else are we making? I think that's the enchilada. Yeah, so you have those recipes for the weekend, which really is like an hour and a half, I think this week's plan takes. It varies. And you can always try us free too, by the way. If you're not a member and you want to try us out, you can go to batchcookingclub.com/free, and you can always try us out for free and let us know what you think, or reach out to me or over here on Batch Cooking Club or over at Vegan Mama, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So, okay, I'm just gonna keep zesting here. This is my favorite little tool. I don't subscribe to having a lot of kitchen tools or needing a lot of gadgets, but this, it's a microplane, but I use it as a zester. Pretty much that's all I do. Oh, I also use it for garlic when I want to shred garlic or ginger. So this is really essential for me. Okay, oh, it smells so good. Okay, so just got to get the little guy stuff in there. And we're going to put some lemon juice in there. Smells so good. Last but not least, a little sea salt. And we're going to mix that up. And those are our lentils. So a little seed gun in there. So you can see how quick that came together, especially if you're not talking like I am. Oh, salt. Okay, so this is the base for our wrap. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix this together. And this is our filling. Whoopies. And so in addition to wraps, like I was mentioning, this is a great filling for a lot of things. You can put it over greens as a salad. You can fold it into a quiche like we're doing in this week's plan. And I'm gonna put a little bit more salt in there. And then, what else was I gonna say? Oh, you can also serve it as like a dip with like crudité, with like endive and vegetables that have like hollowness, like those little baby sweet peppers. You can serve it like that. So it's really, 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 really yummy. Okay, so I'm just gonna set that aside. By the way, can I just give a shout out to my fun avocado spatula? I love the spatula. Okay, so I'm gonna put that right there. These are the other things we're gonna put in our wrap, but I'm gonna set that aside so that I can show you the hummus. So, all you need, this is homemade-ish. Remember guys, we've got tons of recipes over on our blog if you ever wanna make a homemade hummus. But this is super easy and it tastes homemade. So I've used a plain hummus from Trader Joe's. You want something plain that doesn't have a lot of flavor, like, add-ins. You don't want like a roasted pepper or something just as a base, because you're gonna add a lot of flavor. And this is a good method for any type of hummus. Say you wanted to make sun-dried tomato hummus or roasted red pepper hummus. Use your base, and then you're gonna add in all your fun stuff. So I have got some garlic salt. Okay. Oops. Let's move our lemons out of the way. Don't get my trash over here, Roberto. Okay, I got a little garlic pepper here. Or garlic pepper. Garlic powder, not pepper, garlic powder. And then I also am going to do a little bit of salt. And then I'm going to do a half of a lemon. And I'm going to try to cut this better so I don't get all those little seeds this time. So we're just going to do this juice of half a lemon. You could also make it really lemony by adding more lemon juice or more zest if you like it really lemony. And then wipe this guy out of there. And then of course, what are we missing, you guys? What's the secret ingredient? Or not the secret ingredient? The olives! Okay, so I love olives. Actually, I think I raised my whole family to like olives. We all like them. So I've got a blend here of green olives and Kalamata olives. do whatever blend that you love. If you have an Olive bar at your favorite grocery store, go crazy and pick out a medley that you like. All we're gonna do is chop them up really fine. You don't wanna, nobody wants to bite into a big chunk of olive. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind that. I love olives so much. When I was a kid, my mom came home and I had eaten a whole can of black olives. This is how much I love olives. Well, I don't know if you know, that's a lot of sodium in there. And my mom was like, I didn't think anything was wrong. I thought, oh, olives are healthy, what's the big deal? My mom was like, just astounded, like, you cannot eat a whole can of olives. And that began my love-hate relationship with olives, that I want to eat them all, but I have to limit myself. Now I count them out so that I'm good like that. So all you're gonna do is chop these up very fine. Finely chopped, as we say. And then we're just gonna fold them into our bowl here. Homemade-ish is so fun. If there's anything that I can impress upon you today is that you don't, I'm all about the batch cooking on the weekend and doing the business, getting the work done. But look, this is a homemade-ish recipe that we're batching on the weekend. So don't give up and think that you can't make it if you can't make it from scratch, you can't get a homemade meal on the table. I really want to impress that upon you, because I know a lot of people who just think they can't do it, they don't have the time, and so they don't even try. Look at how quick these two things were to make. You can make these on the weekend, have it ready for the week. Okay, so now let's put our wrap together. Okay, so the recipe and our plan, our members know, have a few more ingredients, but I'm keeping this super simple, and I'm just going to layer some mixed greens, and I got these from a bagged, mix from Trader Joe's. I'm gonna, oh wait, you know what, hold on. First I wanna spread my hummus on, because, it's all about the hummus, so let's do that. A little or a lot, depending on how much you like it. I'm happy right there. That's all I need. That's all I need is a little bit of tortilla with hummus. Oh, when we talk about the wraps, if you're gluten-free, I really like, there's so many great wraps. So if you're gluten-free, make sure you use a gluten-free wrap. I also make wraps using nori seaweed, which this would be so yummy in. And I also love the Ezekiel wraps that Trader Joe's sells those too. So you can, they make spinach tortilla wraps now. There's so many options, so have fun with that as well. Okay, you can do it with a corn tortilla as well. So I'm putting a little greens there, and then I'm gonna put my lentils. Okay, a couple of tomatoes, and I'm going to cut it in half and show you how, oops, this is very dirty with a lot of olives there. Okay, and we're gonna just cut it in half, and there you go. How quick and easy was that? So good. Okay, so recap this week's plan. If you're interested in checking it out, is over at batchcookingclub.com/thisweek. You can also go to batchcookingclub.com/free and try us free for a week. We are here every week doing live cooking classes featuring some kind of recipe from the current week's plan. We drop new plans every Wednesday. We add a new recipe to our blog, free to everybody, every Wednesday as well. And we'd love to have you be part of our community. So make sure you like Batch Cooking Club over here on Facebook. Come hang out with us over on Instagram, also at Batch Cooking Club. And please connect with me. I'm Stephanie Dreyer, the founder. I'm also known as Veg Mama over on Facebook. You can connect with me there. And also on Instagram at Veg Mama as well, where I share more meal planning, batch cooking, all the stuff to make mealtime easier. So thank you so much for joining. Before I sign out, does anyone have any questions? All right, so have a beautiful day, and we will catch you here next week.